Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona. Today I have an open box video. We're going to look at some pretty fun coins today and see how they came back from PCGS. For those of you keeping score at home, this was sent in on the standard service. And let's see here, when in the world did we send these things out? I'm trying to find the date on my own packaging here. And we'll get to that in a second. But first, also, the bonus material at the end, we do have a Crackout on a coin. That's going to be kind of the bonus coin at the end for us to peruse. But it looks like this took the better part of 2.5 months on their standard service. And let's dive right in here. I'm going to start with this coin up in the front that I pulled out first. 1922 and no D. So this is the one you want, guys. This has the really faint looking 192. And then you get the second two is like super strong. So even if you see this coin really well worn down, oftentimes you will be able to see just how vivid that second two is. What am I doing here? I got all kinds of visual aid problems. And so let's look ahead at this coin and look at the reverse. So these coins, this is known as the strong reverse versus the weak reverse. There is actually different die pairings beyond that, but I'm just going to sit here with the basics. The strong reverse, of course, has a strong reverse. What does that mean? It means that you can visually see the wheat stalks really well. They're not all mushy. And the weak reverse coin is very different. It has a soft 2 at the end. It has a soft back to it. And oftentimes you can actually see a very small portion of the mint mark below that middle two, the first two. So we've got a pretty strong looking bow tie, kind of a flatter hair, and on this guy here, there is some weakness to these on the obverse. You'll see in general kind of a weak in God, and on the left hand side a little bit more weakness and a little bit stronger onto the right side of that coin in general on the 22 no D. And of course the reverse, though, you've got the full splits on the wheat stalks, and then a little bit of blending there on the kernels. And this guy they called a VF30. So nice looking grade on that guy. Nice even chocolate brown. I think my light's a little too bright here. It's giving me a little shine on, but that is about $1,000 coin, give or take. Now, for those of you who want to send coins in for grading, my recommendation, as always, is don't do it. But if you are going to do it, realize that the price points and time periods change based on the value of the coin. So if you have a more valuable coin, you have to spend more to get it certified. It should come back in a quicker amount of time in theory. So this is the 1937 Denver Mint. Three-legged buffalo. You got to tell me what you think of this coin here. Shows really well. Nice, strong, full horn. Kind of a common point that is used on grading these in general, but also just realize, man, these guys come in so many different levels of strike. I think the Buffalo nickel amongst the hardest coins to grade based on strike. Nickel is so soft. Some of these things come flat as a pancake, so you kind of have to know which dates come flat and which ones don't. So you can start to see where is where what is where there's where there's where. That makes a lot of sense when you're collecting coins. So this one is an extra fine 40, and a nice looking coin, really even. I thought it might come back at 45. Similar in grade price point to the previous coin, probably close to $1,000 type coin, maybe a little shy of that, maybe a little bit less than the other one. Next up, we have an 1891 Carson City Morgan. Now this was an interesting grade result. Let's take a look. This 91 Carson City. 91 Carson City is kind of an interesting coin because for those of you who collect Carson Cities, you know this, but those first few years, I shouldn't say first few years. So there's the 78 and 79, and then you get 80, 81 are kind of scarce. You get the 82, 3, and 4, which are the most common, but they're also almost always uncirculated. It feels to me like the 91cc is the 1 year, maybe followed by the 90cc, where I see a pretty wide variety of coins that are both circulated and uncirculated. There's not just like one way or the other. Some of those, that 82, 83, 84 series of coins, sometimes you don't see you don't see them circulated very frequently. It's actually very difficult to find. But then, some of your earlier coins, the 79cc as an example is one that you're very likely to find circulated only. All right, so this coin in particular is very subdued. And so I'm going to watch the luster flow over here. This is where I'm looking off to the right side. And so you can see it's very much so nearly 100% luster through there. And then you have a little bit of a lack of luster over the cheek. So on this particular coin, AU58, decent grade. It has the appeal of a grade lower. And the thing is, if you get this coin flat at an angle, once again, learning what coins look like, oftentimes I warn you about coins that you get a picture of and you're like, it's definitely washed out and they're doing trixies to make you think that it's a good thing, and it's not. But on this coin, it's almost the opposite because it really has a technical nice grade. And I actually like this coin better as like a 56.5, but since I don't believe in changing the grading system, we'll leave it with a 58. But this is the type of coin that if you saw pictured like this, you could think it's like an extra fine or something. So it almost has the opposite effect of some of the other coins. So pretty nice coin. That is in the $500 ballpark currently in the market we're in. Last but not least, I'm really excited to show you a coin that I rarely get in. It's hard not to just absolutely fall in love with early American coinage. 1802 bus dollar, and just one of my all-time favorites. Not by date necessarily, but by type. Just the bus dollars are fantastic. 1802 has a bunch of different dates. Apparently we did not get the variety on this, so we'll have to look it up and figure out which one it is. It is not the over date. There's a really nice over date on these guys. I'll show you in the red book here in just a second. If only I knew somebody that had a red book and worked at a coin shop, that'd be helpful. So this guy, as always on these guys, you get a little bit more of a strike oftentimes on the top of the coin, and you tend to get a little bit of flatness down into the bottom. Sometimes that varies, but you can still make out the E pluribus unum, which is really nice. Sometimes that's gone. We still have 13 stars. Did we finish counting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I counted like 10 the first time. That's how good my counting is. And there's lots of little varieties here based on the date style, but also on not on this date necessarily, but a lot of the early U.S. American coinage that has varieties. It's like the number of berries will change, the leaves or the leaf position will change, and overall a nice looking coin. I'm really happy overall with a fine 15 on the coin. I think that's accurate. I think that compared to some coins that you'll see or get in, it's even a little bit lenient, not on the grade, but the fact that they straight graded it. But I think that's fair on a coin like this. You've got a few scratches under the toning, and a little bit of a brighter field under the toning, which was probably polished 128 years ago. And, so, it's a type of thing, though. It's toned back over, and I think it's a really fair grade. The 1802, like I was saying, there's a lot of different varieties on that. And so here's just a couple of examples of the over date, the 2/1. And the 2/1, you can really see the 1. And the wide date, you can see how far each letter is spaced. And then on this date, it's a little bit mixed bag where you've got the 0 and the 2 pretty close together. But this one was not an over date, not that I saw. Last but not least, let's talk a little bit about a Crackout. These other coins were mine from inventory, ours from inventory. This was a customer's. He wanted a crack-a-doodle-doo, this 1829 halftime, and it was in a PCGS AU58 holder. And he cracked it, and we sent it back into PCGS for another go. So, but for those of you, if you have interest in any of those coins we just showed, usually we'll have some links down in the show notes, the show description. So if you click on the title, it'll drop on down. All right, so eeny, meeny, miny, mo, how's this grade gonna go? We had an AU58, don't you know? Now we have an altered surface, unk detail. Okay, so this holder is an older style holder, the all blue top. I mean, so this is, you know, something that's probably certified in the early 2000s to, you know, 2010 or something like that. I don't know how to look that up exactly. You can identify some of this stuff by all the different label styles. But AU58, now they're calling it altered surface unk detail. So a couple ways to look at this. Sometimes we talk about something that is known as net grading. Net grading is where they take the coin and they put a grade on it, just a lower grade on it because of a few small minor issues that they may have with the coin. So if you take an uncirculated coin, you think that it has a little bit of surface malformities, problems, issues, then you could just call it an AU58 instead. That's just a theory. I know actually that to be true on a lot of older coins. On this specific coin, a little bit of a theory. I do find that the reverse of this coin is extremely compelling. It's very hard to look at the reverse of this coin without saying this coin is uncirculated. And they called it uncirculated details. But the obverse of the coin, I just don't know, man. It looks really good. It definitely has some brightness to it, but also, let's look. I mean, we're not really finding hairlines. You do have a little bit of a sheen there, though. So I think altered surface may be a strong terminology, but I don't know that they use the terminology wiped anymore. I think they used to use the terminology wiped to look at a coin that had possibly had like a handkerchief taken over the top of it a few times. What was that word? Yeah, don't ask. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.